Welcome to the Golden Cabinet Chinese Medicine Lecture Series. In this lecture we will be discussing 5 flavors and 5 temperatures. In nature, all plants can be said to have some combination of 5 flavors or 5 temperatures. The 5 flavors are bitter, salty, sour, sweet, and pungent. The 5 temperatures are hot, warm, neutral, cool, and cold. So again, all plants in nature have some combination of these 5 flavors and these temperatures. To kind of understand this and contemplate this, we can use peppermint and ginger as our example. Well, peppermint and ginger both share the flavor pungent. We can all think of a time possibly whenever we had ginger and could smell that it's a very strong smell. And peppermint is the case too. Like if you've ever cooked peppermint tea, you walk into the room in the kitchen where it's cooking and you can smell it quite easily. Well, this flavor is actually pungent. Peppermint and ginger, they share this flavor, pungent. Now on the other hand, they do also possess some temperature. Ginger being warm and peppermint being cool. Now, of course, we can contemplate this also by thinking about how it feels whenever you eat ginger. Ginger obviously is a warm flavor. It has a spicy flavor, and it's great for warming up a cold. On the other hand, peppermint, which is cool, is an opposite temperature, and it's has a cooling effect on the throat and the sinuses. And we can remember, trying products probably that had some peppermint that had that cooling effect on our throat or sinuses. So again, no matter what plant, edible or not, has some combination or variation of these 5 flavors and temperatures. There is a plant I'm thinking of, Wu Weizhi Schizandra, which actually shares all 5 flavors and houses all of those flavors at once. And you can notice or taste these 5 flavors whenever you taste it. You'll notice bitter, salty, sour, sweet, and pungent, all 5 whenever you try it. Now each one of these flavors, bitter, salty, sour, pungent, so forth, has an action. The first is we'll discuss the flavor sweet. Sweet is very common in our diet. Honestly, probably overeaten in our diet as well. We of course can all contemplate something we've had that's sweet. For instance, jellies, jams, cookies, syrups, etc. Now, the function of sweet is to tonify, moisten, and to cool the system. So it's very often that our bodies are craving sweet flavor because we are overworking, so we need to be tonifying, or overworking and we need to be cooled down, and also can have dryness, and your body will want to have that if it's having a dry situation. Now on the other hand, lesser eaten flavors, like for instance bitter, should also be discussed. Bitter is the flavor that clears heat. This is why often people who drink coffee will have a bowel movement or even diarrhea in some cases after they drink coffee, because coffee is a bitter substance. It actually technically assaults the digestive function and the digestive fire, and that's why people will have a bowel movement, because it actually purges the digestive system, heat, and has a descending function. Another one that we can think about is chocolate. A lot of women, they crave chocolate before their menstrual cycle, especially if they have some heat in their system or some stagnation that needs to be moved. Because bitter has a nice heat clearing function. It's rarely because of the sweet in sugar, although this can be a part of it. More often the bitter craving is to get rid of heat. Now moving on to the flavor pungent. Pungent is a very moving flavor. Foods that include a pungent flavor are onions, garlic, radishes, these kinds of very aromatic foods. One that I really like to use to describe this pungent flavor is citrus peel. Now, we can all remember a time whenever we walked into a room and smelt someone opening up an orange or lemon or any of these really citrus fruits. This is because citrus has a lot of essential oil, and this oil breaks up and disperses and goes and breaks in through the air molecules. Well, this citrus, it does the same thing inside of the body as well, and can be used to break up phlegm for cough or cysts and polycystic ovarian cyst as well, and used in a lot of formulas for that. But this pungent flavor is very moving, so it's good for qi stagnation, and also good to break up phlegm and dampness inside the system. In fact, we are anyone who has done some research on foods for obesity or losing weight, they'll find grapefruit as one of those flavors. Well, the reason that grapefruit is good for losing weight is because adipose tissue is actually considered phlegm and dampness in the system, and grapefruit is a very penetrating and a phlegm-breaking substance. So that's why you have that in those food therapy protocols. Now, moving along, we have the flavor salty. Salty's primary function is to disperse nodules, and many of us who might have studied the functions of kelp would have seen that it's often used for goiter or thyroid problems, and in fact, this thyroid goiter from thyroid disease is actually also seen as a phlegm and a dampness. And so salty foods have a nice function to kind of remedy and break up phlegm nodules in the body. And when mixed with pungent, of course, even has a stronger function. Lastly, the flavor sour. Sour is not too common in the modern American diet, but we can think of some things like, for instance, apple cider vinegar. This is sometimes eaten and used in protocols for things like digestive problems and stomach issues. Well, sour has a wonderful function of taking moisture out of the body and transforming moisture. This is often why it's used for stomach problems, actually. The sour, what it does is it can transform a sticky situation. So often with our modern American diet, we will be over-consuming sweet, and then we will get too moist, and then we will require some of these other flavors like bitter and sour to relieve or remove those accumulations. So this is the first introduction into 5 flavors. Each one of these flavors can be explored more thoroughly, and I hope that you will sit with some of those lectures in the future and enjoy some of those, and maybe start to incorporate some of these principles into your diet to create more health. Thank you so much for tuning in, and hopefully you'll enjoy more lectures in the future. Thank you so much.